So first of all, good morning everyone. Thanks for joining this TI Singapore seminar. It has been some time since we have this. Without further ado, I think let us kickstart this with an opening remark from our Area Director, Sales and Application for Southeast Asia and Australia, New Zealand, this Robert Fu. Thank you.
Okay, good morning everyone. My name is Robert Fu. I'm the Director of Sales and Application for Southeast Asia. And we're very glad, me and the whole TI team for TI South Asia are very glad to see all of you and welcome to join our seminar for today. And as Andy just noted, that we haven't been hosting this seminar for many years already, and due to the COVID. And we're very glad to finally host this seminar and see all of you join, and so that we have a chance to interact more and have a lot more discussion on the technical side and what product offering that we have for this industry. So before we get started into the agenda to talk about a few of the key product that we have, so today we're going to covering like a microcontroller, connectivity, USB PD, and a LED driver, many exciting products. Okay, so that will be covered in the agenda today. And before we move into that, I'd like to introduce you a bit more about Texas Instruments, okay? And some background, some overview, and what we have prepared, such as capacity planning behind all the product offering. Okay, so to begin with, TI, Texas Instruments, the revenue for 2022, our revenue is $20 billion. Okay, so in terms of a ranking, we are the #1 analog semiconductor company. Okay, so I would say there's a benefit to working with the biggest, right? So with the scale, you get to enjoy the cost and supply, and also on the longevity. Okay, and among these $20 billion, analog and embedded processing constitute about almost 90% of our revenue. And in terms of a market, industrial and automotive represents almost 70%. Okay, and due to the overall increasing electrification in industrial and automotive, these two markets are going to accelerate. Okay, and that is also where we're looking forward to work with our customer more closely, how we can work on this together. So in terms of products, we have over 80K products. That's many. And we have 100K customer, and many of those are industrial customer too. So 70K above of the customers among all of this are industrial type. We have 15 manufacturing sites across the world, which I'm going to talk about more later. All right, and among all of we have employee 31K around the world, and about half of those are in Asia. Okay, so that would be close to support a customer in this area. Okay, so I'm also going to share with you a little bit about our ambition. Okay, so our ambition is to create a better world by making electronics more affordable through semiconductors. So why we set up this ambition? So you can imagine that a lot of people, majority of the people in the world, in fact, they couldn't even have a proper meal every day. So 60%, so give you guys a number, 60% of the population in the world, their daily income is less than $8 a day. Okay, so that's less. So although all of us sitting here, we are enjoying a very convenient life with all the electronics around us, but many of the people in the world, they cannot. Okay, so how can we make them also have more of the electronics in their life to introduce convenience into their life? We have to make the electronics more affordable. And what we can do from Texas Instruments, and by also working with you guys, customers, through semiconductors. Okay, so how can we do that through semiconductors? So first of all, we got to make a semiconductor product to have a better cost. Okay. So that will be doing by something transition from the 8-inch wafer to 12-inch wafer to apply the more optimal process nodes And that would also from better cost and also by better product. Okay, so we can offer a product with a better integration. Okay, so potentially we can also help customer to integrate and make the design even more efficient. And last but not least, better cost, better product, and also better supply. Okay, so you can imagine that in the past 2 to 3 years, the supply has been a constraint. And during supply constraint, the price will surge, right? So that's definitely not a good thing to offer affordable products. Okay, so better supply. So I'm also going to touch a little bit about better supply, how we are going to achieve that. And I know most of the people here are from the technical side, from R&D. The supply may be managed by the supply chain team in your company, but from supply-wise, I just want to make sure that you understand that TI will get you back up. Okay, we have the supply capacity in plan for the next few years. Just to share a little bit about what we are having. All right, so this is what we are seeing. This is not just for TI. This is for the semiconductor shipment in the past 30 years. So you can see that semiconductor has been coming up and down in the cycle. Okay, so in the past 30 years, the cycle has always been something like 1 year of weakness followed by 2.5 years of strength. So without a doubt, right now we are in a downturn. Okay, so many of our peers in the semiconductor industry, they are cutting their investment. Okay, so they are trying to slow down the investment. Okay, so in this downside here, okay, and maybe potentially and with very high chance that we are seeing this going upwards. Okay, or maybe I should put it for sure, it will go upwards. And just imagine that the electrification happening around all of you. So all the automation, factory automation, and building automation, and also electrification of vehicles. So everything is adding more and more of semiconductors into the products. Okay. So, and building a fab, building a wafer fab, that will require 3 years of time. So if we don't do it right now, if we don't do the capacity planning right now, it will be too late when the next upturn comes. Okay, so that explains the rationale about why we are doing it, capacity planning right now with a sense of urgency. And it may not be intuitive to do it right now, but it will be good for our customer and the market. All right, so what we're doing, this green line here is our capacity investment plan in last year. So originally we are planning to do $3.5 billion a year. And this year, we decide to double down. We decide to add up the capacity planning investment to $5 billion a year. So all this capacity investment will aim to bring TI from a $20 billion company from as of last year to $45 billion of a company in 2030, in 7 years. So that will be critical to get this all planned. And just to give you some sense, these are the factories that we are talking about. We have one new fab in Richardson, in Texas. Okay, so we have originally that's our Fab 1, and this is our Fab 2, another fab, and to bring another 50% more capacity. And we have 2 fab in Lehigh, in Utah, LFab and LFab 2. And we have in Sherman, there are 4 fabs under planning right now. So the soonest this fab will go online by, as soon as by 2025. So 2 of those fabs already starting to output as of today. And I'd also want to emphasize that all these fabs are focused on the 45 to 130 nanometer process nodes. So why is this process node strategic? So you may have heard of lots of capacity investment from the foundry, and they are more focused on advanced node, something below 28 nanometers. But that's not the optimal process nodes for analog and embedded processing. While for this mature, relatively mature node, 45 to 130 nanometers, there's very few companies in this industry that's investing in this process node range. So that is how this is critical and strategic. So not just on the front end, On the back end, on the assembly test, we have in Chengdu. Okay, so in Chengdu we have a fab, we have a probe, and we also have two assembly and test facilities. And also these two sites we just announced about 1.5 months ago. One in Malacca. Okay, this is the second assembly and test facility in Malacca, and also in KL. Okay, also the second one. So soon as this new assembly and test site is going to also ramp as early as 2025. All right, so this is our manufacturing footprint. So for this color, green and blue color, that means the wafer fab. So you can see that as our name suggests, Texas Instruments. So most of our fab in Texas, Texas area. Oops. All right, so in Texas area, and there are 3 cities in Richardson, and also in the northern areas in Sherman. Okay, and as for the back end that I just talked about, mostly in this area where we are located. In black collar, also in Philippines and Malaysia. Okay, so what you can see from this map, you can probably see that we are pretty spread across all the different regions. Okay, so why we are doing this? So this is also for the business continuity reason. Okay, so we are doing another thing is that so one product, firstly they have to go through the front end, through the fab, and then the back end due to the assembly and test site. Okay, so we try to make our product to have a dual flow. Okay, so say if there's a natural disaster, there's a typhoon, there's a flooding, there's an earthquake happening in certain location, so that we can have that resilience to switch to another flow. So not just this flow, but we also do cross support between the front end and the back end side. So 85% of our products can have this multiple flow and can be manufactured in a different companies, different sites. All right? Okay, so what products do we have? So we have talked about we are trying to make our product to have a better cost and better supply, as I have just talked about on a capacity investment, and now better product. So in the first page, I'm not sure if you guys have noticed that among the $20 billion of revenue, we spend almost 10% on R&D investment to bring to our customer even better product, even more product with the better features, which you guys are going to hear more today. So what product do we have? So first of all, sensors, all kinds of sensors, temperature sensing, current sensing, humidity sensing, pressure sensing, proximity sensing, all kinds of sensing. And going through the signal chain, amplifier, okay? So precision amplifier, high-speed amplifier, general purpose amplifier, all kinds of amplifier to amplify the signal and ready for the data conversion, so analog to digital conversion. And into the digital world, embedded processing, so we have the processor, we have the DSP, we have a microcontroller, which we are going to touch today, and wireless connectivity. So we have Wi-Fi, we have Bluetooth, we also have sub-1G proprietary. We're also going to cover this topic today. And the other way to input to the processor, digital processing through the interface, so like a USB, DisplayPort, HDMI, and for those interfaces, you are going to need the ESD protection as well. Clock gen, clock buffer, clock distribution, DAC, amplifier, okay, and we also have a DLP. So I'm not sure if this one uses TI DLP technology. So we have a DLP for projector and for cinema, and we also have motor drive. So if the product that you are making can move, okay, you certainly have a motor drive in your system. And we have switch, mux, voltage translators, and logic, and last but not least, power management. Okay, so it's also a very important element in the system, all kinds of buck, boost, LDO, LED driver, which we are going to cover today. All right, so for those products, we certainly hope to work with you guys even more. And after this session, please welcome to interact with our team to talk more and how we can work further on your most recent project. And also the other area that you can look for the resource will be TI.com. So TI.com, you can do the cross-reference research, search. So you have a product, but you are kind of suspected whether that's the best part for you. So maybe you can do a cross-reference search in TI.com, and we'll prepare a comparison table for you and to check to help you understand what's the difference on the parameters, so you can make the best decision. So have the tool to help you to quickly add to cart, and also API connectivity. We're also going to talk about that. So that will enable your supply chain team to connect TI.com system to your internal supply chain system in a very convenient way. All right, so in summary, first of all, our ambition to make electronics more affordable through semiconductors so that we can build a better world. So that's still our very much we want to do as an engineer, and we want to do with you guys together. And to do that, we have to make a better product and to make our product to have a better cost and with a better supply. So to do that, we are very strategically focused on 45 to 130 nanometers, and this is the sweet spot for analog and embedded processing. And for all these relevant nodes, there are not many suppliers that's investing in this area. So TI remains the supplier with the most analog capacity and the largest increase in the nearest term. So remember we talked about we have 7 new fabs that's upcoming, and also 3 other new assembly test sites that's new upcoming. So that's wrap up what I want to share with you about what we are preparing at the back end, besides the great products that we are offering. So again, thank you all for coming to our seminar today. I hope you have a very fruitful day with our team. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Robert.